Welcome to the Dodgers Blue News channel. Before the news, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Now, let's get to the Dodgers news. Hey Dodgers fans, it's time for the latest updates on our team. Today, the focus is on Teoscar Hernández and the strong words from manager Dave Roberts. Roberts made it clear that he expects more from our outfielder. According to him, Hernández has lost a key piece of his game, that fire that always made a difference in critical moments. Last Sunday, Teoscar stayed on the bench, rested on Monday, but returned on Tuesday with 2 hits in 4 at-bats, including an RBI. At the same time, however, he committed another defensive error, dropping a fly ball that ended up turning into a double. That play really sums up Hernández's season so far. The numbers show he's in the 3rd percentile in defensive runs saved, according to Baseball Savant, and even with 21 home runs, his .246/284/450 line hasn't been enough to make up for the defensive lapses. Roberts highlighted that last year Teoscar was a decisive player, balancing fun and competitiveness, but that spark needs to return now. The manager believes the next month could be a turning point, because the team needs that fight and fire on the field. Despite the criticism, Roberts said he has had plenty of conversations with Hernández, that they are on the same page, and that Hernández knows his value to the club. The message is clear. It's time to regain confidence and show why he was brought in as a key piece. Dave Roberts' words come across strong, but they don't feel like condemnation. On the contrary, they are constructive criticism aimed at boosting morale and reigniting the confidence that made such a difference in the past. The manager isn't pointing out mistakes to knock him down, but to rekindle the player's spark. Roberts knows how much Hernández can deliver at his best. He believes the key isn't just in swing mechanics, but in the fighting spirit, contagious energy, and competitive focus that have always defined the outfielder. That's why the message carries weight. It's not empty criticism, it's publicly placed confidence. If Hernández takes that message and turns it into motivation, he can bounce back at the right moment this season. Criticism becomes fuel, confidence becomes a weapon, and the Dodgers gain an internal boost that could be decisive in the final stretch. The season is still wide open, and if Hernández regains his rhythm, he can repeat the impact he showed in past playoffs and turn an uneven year into another story of triumph in a Dodgers uniform. After the situation with Teoscar Hernández, let's turn the focus to another delicate point in the roster, Roki Sasaki. The Dodgers will have to make a critical decision about the Japanese rookie, who hasn't taken the mound since May 9th, when he faced the Arizona Diamondbacks. Since then, he has been out due to a shoulder injury, spending over 60 days on the injured list. During his rehab with AAA Oklahoma City, the numbers weren't impressive. He started 4 games, giving up 11 runs over 14 innings and posting a 7.07 ERA. The biggest concern was the drop in velocity of his fastball, which fell from triple digits to between 140 and 154 kilometers per hour. Dave Roberts was direct. The talent is there, but performance and consistency have yet to show. Even in MLB, Sasaki struggled before the injury. In 8 games, he recorded a 4.72 ERA, without replicating the dominance he showed in NPB. He struck out only 24 batters over 34.1 innings, numbers below what would be expected from such a promising arm. Roberts made it clear that the current phase demands more than future projections. The team is in a title race, and expectations are high. The manager admitted that he will only consider Sasaki for October if there is an immediate jump in performance. Otherwise, with a well-stocked rotation, his only realistic chance would be as a bullpen piece. In his latest outing for Oklahoma City, Sasaki started rough, giving up 2 two-run home runs in the first inning, but he bounced back and retired 11 of the next 12 batters, including 7 in a row. This shows flashes of the talent everyone knows, but also highlights the lack of consistency. The scenario is clear. The Dodgers should not rush his return. The priority is for Sasaki to regain confidence, velocity, and command, even if it means finishing the year in the minors. At just 23 years old, the team knows his future could be bright. The decision now is more strategic than immediate. If his development is managed with patience, Sasaki could become a powerful weapon as early as 2025. For now, it appears the young pitcher will continue his process in AAA until he proves he can handle the high level of competition in Los Angeles. For Roki Sasaki, this moment is more than a physical test. It's a proof of evolution. Every pitch, every outing in AAA carries enormous weight because the Dodgers need to see signs of growth. The raw talent is there, but without consistency, he cannot establish himself in a competitive MLB environment. Showing evolution means regaining confidence in his command, restoring the velocity of his fastball, and, most importantly, learning to face American hitters with the same poise that made him successful in Japan. This adaptation is inevitable, and the sooner Sasaki shows progress, the faster he will open the path to cement his place in the Dodgers rotation. Patience is natural. After all, he's only 23, but baseball doesn't wait. The franchise is chasing a title, and in that context, every player needs to be ready. If Sasaki demonstrates progress now, even if he doesn't appear in this year's playoffs, he starts building the confidence necessary to become an impactful piece in 2025. Every step counts, and this is the moment for the young pitcher to prove he can turn potential into real results. After talking about Sasaki, it's time to turn the spotlight to Michael Kopech. The right-handed pitcher was one of the big finds at the last trade deadline, but his future in Los Angeles is uncertain. Since arriving from the Chicago White Sox, Kopech has shown exactly why the Dodgers bet on him. His ERA dropped from 4.74 to an incredible 1.13, with 29 strikeouts over 24 innings, numbers that immediately made him a key piece in the bullpen. He also shined in October, posting a 3.00 ERA in 10 appearances on the way to the 8th World Series title. The problem is health. That has been the stumbling block. In 2025, Kopech didn't make his season debut until June, after suffering a shoulder injury at the end of spring training. He made 8 flawless appearances, allowing no runs, but then required meniscus surgery, keeping him sidelined until this week, when he was finally activated. Now, in the final year of his contract, the pressure is huge. Tim Kelly from Bleacher Report has already suggested that the Dodgers could part ways with the pitcher in the upcoming offseason, largely because of his injury history. Roberts and the front office know the talent is undeniable, but a player's value only exists when he's available. Kopech will have to prove on the field that he can still be that raw gem from the last trade deadline, showing consistency and, above all, staying healthy. If he repeats the dominance of his last 32 games in a Dodgers uniform, the story could change. But if he falls back onto the injured list, the future points away from California. After discussing the arms in the rotation and bullpen, it's time to turn the spotlight to a major infield reinforcement, Bo Bichette. The name of the Toronto Blue Jays shortstop is starting to gain traction in Los Angeles, and it's no coincidence. The Toronto Blue Jays already took a huge step by giving Vladimir Guerrero Jr. an astronomical $500 million contract, signaling a long-term commitment to their biggest offensive star. But this decision raises an inevitable question. Will there be financial and strategic room to keep Bichette as well? If not, it's almost certain that another franchise will step in willing to meet his demands. Among those franchises, the Dodgers are mentioned as natural candidates. Christopher Klein, from Fansided, was direct. Los Angeles has the history, resources, and ambition to compete for talent of this caliber. Over the past few years, we've seen this pattern repeat. The front office hasn't hesitated to invest heavily in elite players, and every offseason it becomes clear that when a major star hits the market, the Dodgers are watching closely. Bo Bichette has credentials to be among the top 3 free agent players available. Looking at the current roster structure, this move makes sense. Mookie Betts, while still a top talent, is going through an adjustment period, splitting time between the outfield and shortstop. Bichette's arrival would allow a natural reorganization. Betts could settle in left field, while Bichette would take over shortstop full-time, strengthening the heart of the infield alongside Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, and Hye-Sung Kim. The big question, of course, is price. Bichette showed consistency between 2021 and 2023, hitting 20 or more home runs each season and leading the American League in hits twice. His OPS plus ranged from 121 to 128 during that period, establishing him as a reliable and explosive piece. In 2024, however, A series of injuries hurt his production, lowering his numbers and casting doubt on the market value he could command. In 2025, the story begins to rewrite itself. Bichette is hitting .286 with 4 home runs and a 119 OPS+, numbers approaching his career averages. If he fully regains the form he showed at his peak, the expectation is he could receive offers around $171 million over 6 years, similar to the contract Alex Bregman signed with the Tigers. Analysts also point to the possibility of Bichette adapting to different defensive roles. For some teams, he could move to third base, further increasing his market value. For the Dodgers, the most likely scenario is seeing him at shortstop, solidifying a position that has been adjusted on the fly in recent years. If Bo Bichette truly becomes a target and lands in Los Angeles, the fit would be immediate and impactful. We're talking about a player who can take over shortstop full-time, allowing the team to reorganize both the infield and the outfield with more balance. Mookie Betts, who has been splitting time between shortstop and the outfield, could return to the outfield, strengthening a spot that still seeks consistency after unsuccessful attempts with players like Michael Conforto. With Bichette at shortstop, the defense stabilizes, and Betts resumes his natural role in the outfield. Offensively, Bichette brings reliability. Even in a below-average season, he remains a tough hitter to face, with a strong contact rate and the ability to produce runs in sequence. Adding a player of this caliber to a lineup already featuring Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, Will Smith, and Max Muncy is like adding extra firepower to one of the league's most dangerous offenses. Bichette's competitive mindset also fits the culture the Dodgers have built in recent years. He's a player who thrives in big moments, has led the American League in hits, and could raise the level of accountability in the clubhouse even further. His arrival would also open up more versatility. With Hye-Sung Kim able to play multiple infield positions and Betts freed to focus on the outfield, Roberts would have multiple lineup options depending on the opponent. That kind of depth makes a difference in October, when every detail matters. The bottom line is simple. The Dodgers have the resources, the space for another star, and a history of going after the best. Bichette could very well be the next to wear the blue of Los Angeles. And if that happens, the Dodgers infield would undoubtedly become one of the strongest in all of MLB, capable of supporting yet another title run. Ultimately, signing Bo Bichette wouldn't just be another big financial move. It would be a strategic decision, capable of reorganizing the team in multiple areas, increasing offensive firepower, and solidifying an infield that could be considered the most complete in all of MLB. As we wrap up this round of news, it's clear that the Dodgers are facing important decisions on multiple fronts. Each player discussed represents a critical point for the present and future of the franchise. Overall, we see a team that, even amid challenges, remains surrounded by strategic options. Hernandez needs to regain confidence, Sasaki needs to show progress, Kopech needs to prove durability, and Bichette could be the next target to turn an already strong roster into something even more dominant. The outcome is clear. The Dodgers don't operate on comfort, they operate on movement. Every decision, whether to retain, develop, or sign, points to the same goal: staying at the top and competing for championships. And that's exactly what keeps this franchise one step ahead. Now we want to hear from you. After all these moves and possibilities, here's the big question. Which of these decisions do you think will be the most decisive for the Dodgers' future? The recovery of Hernandez, the progress of Sasaki, the durability of Kopech, or the potential arrival of Bo Bichette? Share your thoughts in the comments. See you next time, Dodgers Nation.